Hello. Thanks very much for watching this film. It's about habits. Habits are really tricky things, aren't they? I'm going to talk about some important research, how to increase your chances of success with your habits, and a short exercise. Why we stick to a habit and why we don't. We all want to change things, don't we? We want to take more exercise, we want to be healthier, we want to start meditating, and so on and so on. Most of us don't do what we say we want to do. The main problem is that we say to ourselves what we want to do and then we procrastinate. We put it off. We have very creative ways of putting things off to the future. In German they call this Verschieberitis, postponing, putting things off. We haven't made an internal commitment very often, and the research shows some fascinating data or an experiment which James Clear explains in his bestseller Atomic Habits. Basically the way it worked was you had three groups. There was a control group. The control group wanted to exercise each week, and then they wrote down what they'd actually done. That's the first group. The second group, they did the same exercise each week and they wrote down what they'd done. In addition to that, they watched a motivating film, why it's so important to get physical exercise, to go running, for example. So that was the second group. We call that the motivating group. And the third group was particularly interesting because that was the motivating group plus an action step. So it was the same procedure. They wanted to improve some part of their lives, so physical exercise, for example, in this case. They made a note of it, and then they watched a video, and the third thing that they did was what was described in the book Atomic Habits as the action step. This action step was to fill out a simple sentence, fill out one sentence which said, I will do this on Thursday, for example, at 10 o'clock in my office, for example, or in my running shoes, or in the park next to our home. The example here I'll just give you, I'll do 20 minutes of vigorous exercise on Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays at 7 o'clock in the park. So this is what Clear called an implementation intention. And the results were dramatic. The first group, about 30% of people actually followed through. The second group was about the same, 30% of people followed through, but the people who had this implementation intention and they'd written it down, about 9 out of 10 people actually did what they said and wrote that they would do. Amazing results. So your homework is simply to try it out.